Good afternoon, Head Injury Jane here. So I'm kind of freaking out right now. um, you know, I took some time off from doing Head Injury Jane, thinking that maybe I was feeding, because it's like we can all be psychosomatic, and I wanted to be certain. So I was just like, you know what? I mean, I've been tracking a lot of different things as far as like ear ringing and this and that, and da 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 da. But I wanted to really just kind of give myself a break from reporting like all the time. And there's a lot that has happened since I made the last video to now. The ear ringing is becoming aggressive. I was using food, matter of fact, through July and probably half of August, I was using food to satiate the ear ringing and the pain that was associated with the ear ringing. I was taking very little over the counter medication because I have high blood pressure and I don't want to like push the high blood pressure. And I take medication, so it's covered. It's not an issue. But so there's been a number of things going on, but I'm actually freaking out right now about something that, I just don't know. So I've been going through some of my personal belongings, kind of doing like a liquidation of sorts. It's an excess, and I just don't think that I need so much stuff. So I'm kind of going through and donating and selling things or whatever that I don't need. So, or that are really excessive maybe as well. For example, I have this beautiful leather portfolio type thing at Zip. So when I say beautiful, I mean it's actually, it's like $160 that I paid for it. And it's in like new condition. It was in its box for a while, so it's a beautiful thing. So anyway, I had like drives and stuff in it because it was like my little office or whatever, right? So I was like, okay, I'm gonna have all my, I'm gonna take all my drives out of here, and there were earbuds, a book of checks. It was it was like a little business attaché that was personalized. It had a number. I think it has four. It had four external little jump drives in it now. That was 2 days ago. I think I started pulling that apart 2 or 3 days ago. It's only been a few days. Everything that was inside of that attaché, I have no idea where it is. I've looked all the places that I would think it would be. I don't know where else to look. I mean, I haven't been inside this old leather thing in a long time, and I was like, did I put them there? There's no recollection. I thought I put them. Okay, here's the thing. I thought I put them. I would think I would put them right on the corner of this like makeshift table desk thing. That's actually, I really like. It's made of wood. I repurposed some wood. I love to repurpose. And anyway, I'm actually getting like a weird headache. I almost want to say I feel like I'm in stress because that was important stuff. I've been looking on this shelf and it's not, I don't. So I've looked where I would think the logical me, the old me apparently, would have put stuff. And now I have no idea where these drives are. I have no idea where this stuff is. None. I mean, it's just like, and I know that we're supposed to accept this, and go forward and embrace it. And I have been. I really have been. I mean, me not reporting on it every day, 3 times a day, is definitely like giving it a break or whatever. But I mean, where's my stuff? I mean, what did I do with it? That never, never. I've never been one of those people where I misplace my stuff, where it's just gone. I mean, it's not gone. It's here someplace. I just have no idea where. I mean, that's traumatizing to me. Just, you know what? I'm going to work through this. Okay. That is very traumatizing to my soul, okay? But I know this stuff is here someplace. I think there's one place I didn't check. It's in a bag. It's right there. I'm going to check, that bag, and maybe that's where I put it. I bet you that's where I put it. Okay. It's the only place I haven't looked, and I'm looking right at it, and I now I'm having a glimmer of, I think I put it in that bag right there. So, let me see. Oh, just give me a second, please. No, it's not in this bag. So I'll have to find that stuff because I actually need one of the drives. That's how I started. That's how I discovered, So I need to find it, but I can't imagine, my mind just doing that. It just seems so unbelievable. And it's like when I don't think I could be surprised by the new mind, I am. This is a huge struggle for people. I know I'm not the only person who's probably standing in these shoes right now crying. I imagine there's a lot of people, it's like a silent epidemic. It's like, who would know if I was going through this, if not just for my very few personal friends, and the doctors who really haven't been very helpful. I mean, they've taken care of me, I guess, to the best of their abilities, and the audiologist has been she's a wonderful person, but what kind of epidemic is this? I would have never thought, that I would be standing here in these shoes like this. I mean, just, I have no idea where they are. And they can only be so many places. And that's a significant thing. I mean, that's like, I mean, that's something so, I would never misplace them. So I have no idea what I've done with them. This literally is just all unfolding right in front of you. So this emotion, this is all raw and real, and this is part of why I agreed to do this blog, is because I wanted to share this side. Because right away, right from the beginning, I was sharing so much personal information about what I was experiencing and what I was going through. But that was just the injury. I kept sort of waiting to die from the onset of the injury very shortly thereafter because I hit my head so hard. I never thought, the anniversary was August the 24th. So it's been 1 year. And, 1 year later, I mean, that's one thing, my support group online, I was talking to them about a couple of things, because something happened yesterday too that it was an oversight on my behalf, and I missed an important appointment because the letter that I had received for a prior appointment for a hearing check was one place, but that was for a physician's assistant, and the doctors who actually are the doctors who do this are at a whole different location. And I had Franklin written in my journal. And, but I went to Lone Tree. And there I was on this important appointment that, that I missed because, I assumed that it was, no, I say assumed. I mean, I didn't think that the physician's assistants would be at a completely different location from the doctors, But in either case, I did have it written down in my journal that it was the Franklin Center, and I went to the Lone Tree. That was yesterday. So today, and that's the first time I've ever done that in my entire life. I've never, because I'm so, I was Oh, and that's what I was discussing. I was talking about multitasking. See, if you don't know me, you don't recognize, or you would not, and there's no way for you to know that I was literally nothing like this. I mean, not in the memory department, like this is beyond shocking to me right now. I was in I know I was in shock. When after I was looking in a few places, oh yeah, and it was really funny because just like I thought I remembered putting it in this bag, I thought I remembered putting it in another bag, and it's nowhere. Right now I have no idea where it is. When I find them, because like I said, it's 4 external jump drives, a checkbook, earbuds, and some more stuff that was, small and that could be traveled, in a attaché. It's just, I went into shock after I realized it wasn't anywhere. I could tell I was like going into this because that's not me. It is the new me. It's astonishing. It's astonishing that we don't have a better understanding of head injuries and that I'm going through this like a blind person. Like all of a sudden I'm just blind overnight and there's no one with new information and no guidance, nothing. I mean, the support group has been the greatest bit that's kind of held me together because of their similar, well, there's just a lot of knowledge out there amongst people because when you experience this, you learn everything, I guess, you can about it if you have the capacity. And I'm like, I was really in shock and terrified at the beginning of this year when I actually created Head Injury Jane and brought her on live on, here on YouTube. I was in the very beginning stages of actually understanding what was happening to me, like the actual fallout, and I was in shock. I was in shock. And I was breaking down. I mean, I was very upset. I have been very accepting of this. I mean, overall, I'm pretty damned accepting of this. I mean, I don't walk around every day frustrated because I don't, I forgot what I was coming in the room for, whatever, I can't, I have Post-it notes that it's like every day. I mean, something I've been doing forever. And, now it's like, I can't, if I don't write it down, if I don't have a reminder for me, there's a very good chance I won't remember it. And so it's amazing to me because I have lots of long-term memories and short-term memories that I do have certain control of, but when you have half of those memories that are short-term, or even half of the actions you're supposed to do that are short-term, that you're motoring through, but then you kind of forget. And I'm in shock about where these drives are right now. I don't know, and I can't. I can't believe that. It's shocking. It's shocking. It's very shocking. Because, I mean, that, and it's funny too, because of course, if I'm going to go to the support group and I'm going to confess this, isn't that terrible? I have this like confession because, I think most people would want to hide that they were, I think that people would want to pretend that maybe they're okay. I don't know, I don't have, but this is a case where I would have never, like, they always say, make yourself reminders, make yourself notes, and but, you can't do that with everything. You can't, I mean, I can't make a note of this is where I put the drives. This is what I did with this. It would be, because I do a lot of stuff in a day. I've been making pickles. I've been pickling cucumbers that I've been pulling from my garden. And that is something that's refreshing to me because, I have to use, obviously, you have to sterilize your cans and, your jars for canning, and I process them. And Anthony's mom gave me some fresh dill in one of the batches. So it's going to be, it's got fresh and dill seeds. So they should be really dilly. But I've been so I've been doing things to flex, neuroplasticity is now one of my favorite things. I actually test my memory all the time. I'll do things like, if I forget, I'll go, okay, now try and remember. Just, I don't put pressure on myself. It's not in a negative sense, right? It's not negatively fed. And I'm able to sometimes pull out memories of immediately what I'm doing in front of me. Could you imagine? Like right now, there's a program that's on. Okay, and I just remembered. See, I'm getting better at doing that because when I first started doing that, I put a program on because I use white noise. I have a fan right here to my right and the television right here in front of me with a little cheap surround sound type thing, so I get a good boom because my ears ring so loud now. Again, I don't know if it ever ceases, but I think I was using food to satiate it through July. And I stopped doing that, but they're ringing so loud. Anyway, I'll put programs on, and because I'm like, sometimes I'll start reading an article that's really important to me, and I really can't have someone talking in the background. I just can't. My mind, even when I was, before the head injury, I couldn't have background noise on, where there was like radio in my office or music. It was, if there was music on, there were very so very rare occasions, I think maybe Christmas, but I couldn't, it's hard for me. So anyway, the movie will go, and, I keep it on pause for so long that it goes into where, flashes a little Blu-ray, screensaver thing or whatever. And oftentimes I don't remember what I'm watching. So I now stop and go, what am I watching? And you saw how fast I actually processed that. Just when you saw me look up and go, okay, and I do this thing, and I stopped and I thought about it and I actually pulled it out. So, it's really funny too. When I put movies on for background noise, I put a certain set of movies on where the background noise, there's not a lot of talking necessarily. So it's not detracting, there is, but I don't know. It's really weird. There are certain movies that don't distract me, but yet I hear the white noise. So it helps with the ear ringing. But, yeah, in either case, I should end this video and oh, that's what I was saying. I have accepted a lot of stuff. That's right. I accept a lot of things. But I apparently there's plenty of room for shock. And what bothers me is I feel like it's kind of like, I don't want to say I'm slipping, but, I think a part of me was hoping that if I understood it, accepted it, moved past it, and just started, using the neuroplasticity tools and the memorizations, things that I'm doing, all these things, that I could really improve it. Like I could move past certain eras of the brain, the mind. But these drives, that shocks me. I find myself, wanting to cry again, because I deem that rather important and serious. Those actually have backup data of a very fundamental importance, in my life. Like all of my books, everything that's digitally, everything, all my taxes, it's all digital records. And I'm like, it's not just flippant that, oh, I have some extra drives. Those extra drives actually have important data on them. They were in that attaché for a reason. And so it's confounding to me that my brain has said, nope, don't know where they are, and not going to give you any clues. I'm drinking coffee, black, delicious. Have pretty much my whole entire life. Espresso I drink with cream. Anyway, in either case, it's shocking to me. That's a really wallop. That's a big wallop to me. It's bigger than yesterday. Because yesterday, at least, it was my mistake, but it was it was a mistake that was quasi-intelligent, only because It was written down in my calendar as Franklin with the doctor, but that's another thing that added an element of confusion to my mind too, was they gave me an appointment sooner than I had an appointment for next week. That's right. I had an appointment for next week and with one doctor, and that appointment was made months ago. So I didn't like freshly write it down, at least a month and a half ago, something like that. And so not only was I not going to see that doctor, but I was going to be seeing a different doctor. So I wouldn't have actually gone into the page, and looked at it. I was just using the address that was on the confirmation letter that I got, some time ago for the physician's assistant that I told you about. An appointment in July. That's me. When I give those kind of facts, that's me actually stressing my memory, queuing it up. Now I find myself doing that. Anytime I do it, I always go, because I'm testing my memory. So yeah, but that was even more of a reason why I wouldn't have actually gone to my appointment book, because I knew that, what I did know what appointment I was dealing with. And I did know that it was an association, they're both ear specialists. So but because the confirmation was, like I already said, I know I already explained it, but so that is at least a more reasonable, but this betrayal of memory is just flat out betrayal of memory. It's like, nope. And I do not have a clue. There's only literally so many places I would put it. You would think. Listen, when I find it, I am going to come back to this video and put it up. I'm going to go ahead and put this up on YouTube, because I haven't put up a video in a while, and the reason I haven't is I've been trying to work on neuroplasticity and not trying to police myself by going, come on and talk about it, come on and talk about it, come on and talk about it. Give myself a break and try, find a routine. That's part of the healing, that's part of the acceptance, is finding the new routine that works for you, but I really did think that I could also, I thought that I could, improve it to a point, like I could improve it just by not harassing it. So just having no recollection right now of where my stuff is maddening. I mean, I'm not going to beat myself about it. I'm really, other than the fact of what I just experienced emotionally and the acceptance of what just happened, and of course the realization that, even though I have only so many places that I would put my stuff, I really then have to make it a new rule that anything of this nature has to be stored in a certain area if it's not immediately, within my whatever. Because that's what's bothering me about it, is I took it out of one bag, but then now it's not in any other bag. It's not anywhere else where I keep, like I have this, where did it go? This is where I put a lot of stuff. So I was like, wondering, but nope, it's not in here. I was wondering, but I was wondering where this Christmas gift I got many years ago went. A little nanopod. That's funny. I was wondering where this was. I'm going to charge it. Has music on it that I like, and I need to have that for when I go out now. But yeah, otherwise the other stuff, I don't know where it is. Anyway, this is one of my little bags. It's the first place I went. I thought, well, surely, because that's where I was storing them before. Nope. Not anymore. Not new mind. So listen, you guys, the goal is to accept, right? Our goal is to accept what's happening to us. But I think that it's also important to stay in the moment, in the reality of what you're experiencing. Me opening up and crying and getting it out and freaking out, I guess maybe I didn't really freak out, but I think that's part of the process too. I think it's important that we accept even the negative, because, and embrace it. I cried because it hurt me. So it's a natural response. I'm a human being. If I was unaffected by these things, I think I might be a little bit more scared from my mind. But for the fact that I really realized that, hey, I experienced that. So you have to take the good with the bad, create the routines. And this is proof right here that even when you think you have a routine, I mean, like I said, there's only so many places I would put this stuff. So apparently I've put it someplace else. So on that note, I'm going to let you go. Please watch your heads. Um, and forgive those with head injuries. That's one of the things someone in the group actually stated. And he was a decorated human being, as far as like accomplishments or whatever. And he said the hardest thing, okay, so out of everything, the hardest thing was that people didn't understand the memory loss. Like, matter of fact, was some person that I actually respected at one point a lot. When I started talking about it, he was like Alzheimer's and calling it like Alzheimer's. And I'm like, he was actually calling it Alzheimer's. I'm like, no, that's a whole different disease. This is not like that, and it isn't. And it's crazy. And I hope that those who, if you know someone who has a head injury, you know, the memory thing, it's a weird thing. It's short-term memory losses and even any long-term memory. Like I said, I don't even know most of the long-term memories that are lost, only because there's no one in my life family that I grew up with to remind me. Not currently in my life. There is not. It hasn't been for years. So anything that's long term that's gone that involves my family is just whatever. But the short term memory, it is a stunning thing. And so I think that we should try and cut, I think if you don't have a head injury and you're dealing with someone who has a head injury, I call it new mind. And it's not, you can't look at that person the way they were before that head injury if they're affected by it. Like in my case, like how I'm affected. There's a lot about me that's very different. Not just this short-term memory. Some movies that I used to really like, I'm like, I like this. And I can't watch scary movies by myself anymore either. I can only get to a certain point and I have to pull them out. That's new mind. New mind is different. You can't look at the person like, well, that's not Charlie I know. Well, that's right. It's not the Charlie you know. That's why it's a head injury. That's why it was recently reclassified as importance of what's happening when you get hit. I mean, it's dangerous. And the fallout, I call it new mind, and I also call it TBI Fallout. It's astonishing. It's astonishing. This is my mind. 1 year later, I've put drives someplace. That would never happen before. Never happened before the TV. I could tell you dates and times of conversations from decades ago. Some of them I still can't. But these new memories that are coming along, they're being stored differently, and they're also, many of them are not being pulled at all. They're gone. How can I lose my own property in a place where I only have so many places I could put it? And there's no one, the only other person with access wouldn't have touched my stuff. So it doesn't make any sense. I've been robbed. No, it's new mind, because how I know it's new mind is I can't tell you where I put them. If I knew where I put them, if I could go, see, when I took them out, I did this with them. I could track it back. I can't. The two places were, well, really, I've already looked in 3, 4, 5. Not including surfaces. So, yeah, because I looked at a bunch of surfaces too, and I'm like, not in any of the bags, not in any of the surfaces where I normally put my important little tiny things. And no recollection. Okay, I'm receiving a call. It's an important call. Take care. Watch your heads. Be gentle.